Hello everybody out there on YouTube and gun channels. This is just a quick and dirty firearms review. There's a bit of a story with this particular weapon here, but let's get started with what it is first. What I've got here is a 1960s era Smith and Wesson Model 10. Factory blued, beautiful finish. As you can see here, it does have the pin barrel, pins up here. Oh, I should probably unload it. There we go. Anyway, before I get my handprints all over it too much, let me tell you the story about this handgun here. Went to a local gun show a couple weeks back, and here in Texas and probably most other gun shows, when you check in, you have to check your firearms if you're going to sell them. And somebody will take a look, make sure it's not loaded, and then they'll put a red zip tie somewhere to disable the weapon. So like on a revolver, they usually stick it here in the cylinder and they zip tie it off, and then you can go into the show. Well, there was an older gentleman. He was standing there, and he looked like he was having a hard time. And while I was standing in line to check in just to go to the show, I overheard him say the words, "Look, man, it doesn't work. I think it's only worth about 50 bucks. You know, why do you have to give me so much trouble? You know," he was like, "I'm just trying to get rid of it." So hearing that, I walked up to him and I'm like, "Excuse me, sir." I'm like, "What do you got there?" So it had this holster, which is unused. It's from Brower Brothers in St. Louis. Maybe somebody will know something about this. Anyway, basically what the story was is this belonged to his brother who passed on, and it was given to him by the wife of the brother, like an estate type thing. She didn't want anything to do with it, so she just gave it to him, and when he got it, he said it didn't work, so he just wanted to get rid of it. And I took it out of the holster like you see here, and I noticed that the bluing was immaculate, and the other thing I noticed was the cylinders were perfectly spotless, as was the barrel and rifling. This gun has never been fired since the day it was made. I don't think they did test cartridges, you know, when you bought guns back in the 60s, so this gun was completely unfired. And I didn't care what it would cost to fix. So I said, "Hey man, I'll give you 50 bucks right now. You don't have to go through this nonsense with these guys checking it in." And he said, "Deal." So I walked over to an ATM, took out some money, took out $60, gave him $60. He reached in his pocket, gave me $10 back. He said, "I told you $50. $50 is what you're going to pay." We wrote up a bill of sale, put my name, my driver's license number, his name, address and telephone number, and his driver's license number, and I had a sale. This is what people would call the gun show loophole, but this was actually a private sale between two individuals who just happened to run into each other at a gun show. I saved him the trouble of checking in and trying to find a buyer, and I got a pretty sweet gun. As you can tell, there's no markings on it. There's some ride marks from people playing with the cylinder and whatnot, but anyway.
Check out what?
So anyway, there's some ride marks because people have played with it in the past and whatnot, I guess. But the problem with this gun was the hammer flopped around like a dead fish. Didn't do anything. You'd pull the trigger in double action, it would kind of flop around in there. So the immediate thing that I thought of was this tension screw was all the way out, but it wasn't. It was in pretty close to that far in. So what I ended up doing was I took the grips off, took the side plate cover off, and the hammer spring, which has a double hook on the top, was disconnected. It was literally off the hammer. And it looked to me like someone put it there deliberately like that. So all I did was I put the spring back on the hammer, and then I retensioned the screw, put the grips back on, and as you can see, it works perfectly fine. Now this has got the hammer, or the firing pin built in the hammer, so I'm not going to dry fire it, but you get the idea. Well, I guess I will dry fire it. Anyway, it's got a pretty decent trigger. I couldn't stop it there, but you get the idea. All it was the hammer spring was disabled. So, being an honest guy, I actually called the guy I bought it from, and I told him, I'm like, look man, I think I'll throw a couple more bucks your way. What happened, I told him what happened, and he just kind of laughed, and he said, yeah, that makes sense. And so I asked him what he meant by that, and he said, chances are what happened was his brother bought this gun brand new, took it home, pissed off the wife, put it in the safe. And while he was away, he said he wouldn't put it past her to have taken the gun to a guy to have it disabled. And she probably took it to a gun store and told him to disable this. And all he did was unhook the spring. So he went through life never having to use this, never having to fire this, not even knowing that his wife probably disabled the gun the entire time that he owned it, till the day he died. So, you know, I told him, I said, look, let me pay you for it. And instead he says, no, he says, it's good enough. You know, you were honest, thank you for telling me. But he was like, it's a pretty cool story either way. He was like, you go ahead and keep it. So that's how I got a $50 Smith and Wesson Model 10. I ran the serial number. This was dated in, I think, a 1962 or 63 build. I don't remember offhand, but I know it was 62 or 63. And perfect bluing. Perfect bluing. Never fired. Not a single mark on it. Not a drop or a speck of residue anywhere on it. And it was disabled for, what, over 50 years? And now I got it. Reason I filmed this today is because I'm actually going to give this away. And before you get all hot and bothered and excited, I've already got the recipient. This is going to a friend who kind of helped me out when I had some troubling times or whatever. He actually gave me a car. So this is going to go to him. He's 72 years old. He had like shoulder surgery or something, and he's kind of recoil sensitive. So this is going to him, but I thought I would go ahead and share this with you all because it's not every day you see a mint condition unfired revolver. This is chambered in only 38 special, but it's a very, very nice gun, and you know, I just thought I would share it with you guys. So anyway, thank you for watching. I'd like to encourage you to come out to gunchannels.com if you haven't done so already. There are hosts that have shows every day there. We try to have shows every day on Gun Channels. It's just a place where you all can gather and just kind of listen in while we're all at work or just doing our thing. But please like, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next video because that's technically another giveaway. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later.